Welcome back, players, to another Looking Fat game review. Hell Let Loose, the hyper-realistic World War II large map multiplayer game that puts you in the shoes of an average Joe stuck in the raging historical battles of World War II. Is it worth your time? Developed by Expression Games and Cover 6 Studio and published by Team 17, this game is host to some of the largest multiplayer battles across historic battlefields. Its selling points are it has a very unique chain of command communication system, implementation of the tools of war used back in the day, and that every inch of battle is won and lost due to good communication or lack thereof. So, is Hell Let Loose worth it? The reason this game first caught my eye was because of its massive lobby size. Now, I've played some other titles that do this by basically making the game a huge Call of Duty lobby. Hell Let Loose doesn't do that. It stands out because of its communication hierarchy and the importance of each role. It looks something like this. On the bottom level, we have our squad members / crewmates, in charge of being the cannon fodder, the expendables, the ones who die. That's a Rick Grimes joke. Some of the roles at this level are inherently more important, like medic, supply, engineer for nodes. I do want to mention, however, that the nicest thing about this level is that no matter what class you pick, from rifleman to machine gunner, they all have strengths and weaknesses. So do the job your class is built for. This tier of soldier has access to local chat and squad chat, and their main objective is to listen to the squad leader. On the next rung of the ladder, we have our squad leaders and our tank commanders. This tier of soldier is familiar with the game and will probably spend about 20% of the game time looking at their map, marking certain things for their squad and for their commander to know. You're still getting into the thick of it, but your responsibility increases at this level because you have to make sure your squad has a clear objective and a safe place to respawn near the objective you've set for them. This tier of soldier is the true chads of the game and get access to local chat, squad chat, and command chat, and is responsible for completing the goals set out by the commander via directing their squad. And finally, we have the commander, the big cheese, the masturbating, decision-making kingpins of World War II, gods in their own right. Just do whatever they say, they know more than you ever will. The guns, the trucks, the tanks, the artillery! One of the things I love about this game is the tools of war available to you. From the AT gun that can be built anywhere on the map to the big artillery guns at your home spawn point, they feel great. What's really nice about the big tools is that they all feel just the right amount of shitty for the time period. Like the artillery gun, you just blast it and wait and hope someone responds and tells you how it went. Otherwise, you're shooting in the dark. The tanks need 3 people to operate with effective communication, or you'll just get booty satcheled. But if used correctly, with good comms, just one light tank can completely change the tides of a battle in a big way. The tools, weapons, and guns you carry vary a lot, depending on your class and what team you're on, which is just such a nice detail. I'm so sick of all these Call of Duties and Battlefields having metas based on how much money you spend and the attachments you use on a gun. I think this game does it perfectly by leaving attachments to your gun and changes to your gear completely out of the equation. I mean, it's World War II and you're just a guy named Jimbo. No way they're gonna give you a scope back then. And remember, Jimbo, play to your weapon's strengths. If you're using a Thompson or an MP5, avoid long range. And if you're using a Car-9 8K, don't lead the charge in clearing a building. This was an element of the game that I didn't expect to hit as hard as it did. Now, we all know how game chat is. But there's something about it in this game that feels so warm. Maybe it's because you truly are just a guy heading into war against machines that will tear you to shreds in 0.2 seconds. And you're told to kill the guys in the other uniforms, even though they're exactly like you, with families, emotions, hopes, dreams, and fears. They just happen to join the lobby at an odd number instead of an even. But what can you do? You have to survive. So grab your rifle and go do what has to be done. It's not all bad though. There's nothing like laying down in a forest trench singing Spice Girls while a tank's machine gun barrels down on you and your teammates and that one random Russian guy in the US lobbies. There's a beautiful emotional landscape in this game, complemented by the fact both sides are trying their best to accomplish the impossible. So celebrate your wins and learn from your losses. And you might as well enjoy the ride. Hell Let Loose was worth every penny I spent on it. I've gotten countless hours of enjoyment, and a few hours of pain, out of this game. It's a ton of fun and a fresh slice of imagination in an overcrowded wargaming industry. The tools of war are a ton of fun to use and play with, and you might just shed a tear if you care enough. This rings in at a whopping 9 out of 10 on the FAT scale. So, you tell me, should you play Hell Let Loose?